The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of The 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
And good evening, everybody. Let me get that off the screen. Happy Tuesday to you. And you're watching The 2 Count. My name's John Russell. You can call me JR if you want to. Big Ace is over there. And our guest this week, the fascinating, fabulous, and actually very funny because he's done stand-up with me, Tim Nella. How you doing, Tim? Good to see you.
Good seeing you guys too, man. It's been a while. How y'all been?
What's up, bro? I didn't see you. I don't get to see it. So when he went live, I didn't know you were already on. So that kind of scared me for a minute. I was like, oh shit, Tim's on. Awesome. What's going on, man? It's good to have you. We've been trying to get you on. So yeah, like JR said, you've done comedy, open mic and stuff, and JR's hosted it when you're there. And then you and I are part of the astronauts, and for a good year or two, we're doing a podcast weekly together. And in case anybody doesn't know anything about you, like, dude, you're just a man of like many just great things. Like, you are kind of just involved in a lot of stuff around where we're from. You hustle at your own full-time job. I'd consider you a motivational figure as well, especially with your Instagram motivational. Like, I don't know how you get up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I watch that shit and I'm like, I want to be like Tim. But what's funny is then I see those videos and I always go back to JR. For the longest time when we were doing these podcasts, me and Timmy would constantly talk about how he was going to get in the ring and I was going to be his manager.
Ah, nice.
And I'm not saying that that's not going to ever happen. Like,
I still think it's going to happen.
I mean, you hit in the gym good. You look good. I think you could still do this. So,
yeah, man. I don't know. I kind of told myself going into this year that I just got to fully commit. And there's just been so many things that I'm just committing to. And that's why when he reached out to me the first go around, I know I don't know if you guys were doing in studio, but I thought maybe I had some type of cold and I was like, I'm not going to put anybody at risk. But this go around, I've been excited about it all week. I mean, we talked again this earlier in the day, and I'm like, I just can't wait to be on this because JR, for one, I haven't seen him in a while, but yeah. I was waiting for him to mess up my last name like he did the first time I did stand up.
I learned, my friend. I learned.
But no, like, I don't know. I enjoy getting up early and I enjoy trying to be productive in situations like this. I told a coworker earlier, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a guest on a wrestling podcast today. And he goes, what do you know about wrestling? I was like, I'm telling you, man, like DC knows we went to TLC together.
Yeah.
Almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah. What was it? Well, JR, we went to 2019.
Yep.
20. So we and you went to 2017 or
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. When we went, the two like marquee things was Asuka made her main roster debut that night against Emma, and that was when Reigns and Bray got like mumps.
Kurt Angle was part of the Shield that night.
So Kurt Angle ended up being the third member of the Shield, and then we also got AJ Styles, Finn Balor, first time out in WWE, which was huge. That match is still awesome when you watch that one back. So yeah, so like you said, people don't realize it because I didn't know that when we first started hanging out and getting to know each other. Like, I didn't, and that was one of the things when it came up. It was like, oh shit. So, you know, for people who don't realize, like, when did it start for you? Because JR and I are both lifelong, fans. It was hit us when we were kids. Like, I always talk about WrestleMania 3 is like one of the earliest memories I have of Hogan slamming Andre. Like, I remember watching that live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but I want to say, I mean, I definitely started when I was a kid as well too. Like, I can go back to, I remember Rocky Maivia. I remember the first time the Rock Survivor Series. I mean, I remember King of the Ring. I remember all that stuff. And then the Monday Night Wars, I was watching WCW as well. And even like now, it's crazy because it's nostalgic for me because AEW is reminding me of what WCW used. Yeah. So like Wednesday nights, I'm kind of going, am I watching NXT or am I watching AEW? So I'm kind of going back and forth. But yeah, I've been a fan and I enjoy it. I really do. And like I've always enjoyed it. I enjoy the storytelling. Everything about it is so compelling to me. And it's just There's certain things as of late that have kind of bothered me a little bit, but I think we'll probably talk about that. But
yeah, we'll air some stuff out.
Oh, definitely.
That's crazy.
I was just saying, before we get to too much, I want to say hi to Jesse, Pearl, Out of Thoughts, all you guys that have come over from the Twitch Talk show, where I'm at on Thursday mornings. Very happy to have you guys with us, and thanks for joining. Feel free to hop in with any comments you have as we're talking. Okay, guys? We appreciate it very, very much. All right. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's how I was back in the day too. But like, I just have not been able to do it with Dynamite. I did it. So this last week, if anybody caught Dynamite this last week and was streaming it, you know that you missed the first match of Dynamite this week because the stream feed cut out. And that's like the first time that I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to NXT for a while. And again, it's never been anything against the product because I love NXT. Some of my favorite people are on there, and some of those people were on the Rumble, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. Yeah, man. That's so would you say you're like an Attitude Era, like a little before into that Attitude Era was like the
like I was pre-Attitude Era, and then I was all in for Attitude Era. I mean, it was everything. I was just talking about that today with somebody. It's just and we were watching like old school videos. I watched a Scott Steiner promo when he became Big Papa Pump. I was watching that earlier, and then I was just thinking about, man, it was such good times. But really, like I'm one of those people though, I still appreciate it now though. You know what I mean? I think just because so much of the stuff that's happening now, I feel like they have to do what they need to do. But nah, man, I love pro wrestling. JR's looking at me. I don't even know JR knew this.
Yeah, I don't know if you did.
Oh, I didn't know you were a pro wrestling fan. I certainly didn't, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
You know,
some of my favorite things was you and IO Baby doing little matches on your Instagram or when we were doing podcasts.
Yeah, so you know IO Baby too, JR. I'll tell you right now, when we were doing those stunts, I was afraid because he doesn't know his own strength. He's
a huge man.
Oh yeah, we cut this skit one time where he hit me with the Stone Cold Stunner, and like I was laying there for a while, and like he doesn't understand how strong he is. So yeah, no, he's a low key fan too.
Shit, you two would make a great tag team.
We'd be like Big E.
I'm gonna represent these guys. We're gonna what's he down in Texas now? We're gonna get IO Baby on the show.
Yeah, we can make that happen. That'd be a lot of fun.
Right. I just wanted to point out someone thought you were a wrestler joining us tonight. So you got the look, bro. We gotta make
you got the look.
Oh dang. I'll take it. I appreciate it.
So what do you guys want to do? You want to jump right into the Rumble? You want to talk about some of the stuff leading into that? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go, JR?
Why don't we go ahead and kind of review the Rumble quick? As I mentioned to you, overall it was okay. It was kind of lackluster in terms of the whole show, but there were some really good spots and you know, no, and we got Young here talking about Edge already, and thinking that Edge is an old guy, and you and I talked about this a little bit. It's like, yeah, he's old, but he's not like Hulk Hogan coming back and wrestling old. He's not like Goldberg coming back and wrestling old.
No, he's not, but it's an ever-changing product right now, and it's kind of like, man, like I told you before we went on, my whole thing is I'm glad Edge won. It's a cool moment. He won it coming in at number 1 too, so that's cool. Not a lot of people do that, but it's also like, like Young over here saying, I get it. Like, he's had 2-3 matches in this last 2-year span from coming back from retirement, and they've all been with Orton. So it's like, I'd rather see him just get some cool key big matches, but like straight to the title and taking that from someone else's spot. Cause like I said, and we'll get into this as we go through these Rumble results and some of the stuff that it might lead to. But one of the rumors is that he may go to the SmackDown side and challenge Reigns. And it's like, but after I just saw the match that Reigns and Owens did, how does Owens not come to Mania to win that title and finally get it? Because the freaking man deserves it after the performances he's been putting on with Reigns. But again, I don't know. It's
well.
The other thing too is you guys got to remember, going into this year again, we are getting 2 nights, not just one of Mania, which means they need 2 nights of marquee matches, at least 2 main events on each show, big ones. So things would probably be different if this was this time next year and we're going into Dallas and it's one night only.
And as I say, the other thing you have to remember is we're probably going to have at least 2 cinematic matches again, because I mean, that's a staple now. And I think, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what your view is, I would say out of the cinematic matches that WWE has done, the best one was obviously Undertaker.
Boneyard match.
Yeah,
classic.
The Fiend Cena was it was not as good. It was okay.
It was good for like the little like hidden meanings and everything, and just like story behind it was cool how that all came. But as far as like the Boneyard was cool because it was cinemamatic, but it was still action and still a match.
The Cena one, I think that might have been a little too cinematic.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Right.
He must have been filming something at that time. He couldn't get hurt.
Yeah, something about that. But no, back to the Edge thing. My take on that, he's a Hall of Famer. He's long gone, retired in my eyes, and I just feel there's so much talent right now. And it was good seeing Damian Priest get put over. I thought that was nice seeing him get called up. But I'm just I don't understand why there was no Keith Lee. There was just so many things that I'm kind of going.
Damn, I didn't even remember that till you just mentioned it. He wasn't in it.
You didn't because it throws you off because it's like Adam Cole you'd have thought might have made an appearance. I mean, there were so many things that I felt like they kind of missed the boat on, and that's why I'm with JR. It was really I had to rewatch it the following day because I actually completely forgot who even won it because it just didn't make sense to me that he was the first entry and he also won the Rumble because with the amount of talent that was in that Rumble, I just didn't really see, and I don't know who he's going to match up with. Him and Reigns, I don't see the storyline. They want to talk spear versus spear. McIntyre, it seems like they're kind of going with the Sheamus angle now, but I don't.
Way out of left field, right? Am I right, guys? Like,
where did
Sheamus come from as far as being in the time? Now, the other thing too, though, is I would need to double check this, but I'm pretty like 99% sure we'd still get Elimination Chamber. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the next month between now and that pay-per-view before we really get these like.
Do they still do Fastlane then too?
No, because I think Chamber took over Fastlane. I think those were like interchanging. So when they couldn't do Chamber for a while, they were doing Fastlane.
Okay.
Because Chamber can only be Chamber for a while could only be in certain arenas because of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've since rebuilt the structure, so it probably can go anywhere now. But is that red too? Like the cages? Ugh, awful.
Yeah.
The hell, WWE, quit! Just bring it back to old school. Either the blue or a chain link fence.
Great big blue. Oh yeah, that great big blue square one. That's the freaking cage, baby.
Classic,
right there.
That's making me feel old.
But then you also got this Miz angle too, because he's still Mr. Money in the Bank. So like, there's just, I don't know.
There's a lot of and I think you and I, Nella, we talked about it the day of the Rumble when we were texting. JR and I, we talked about it last week. There was no clear answers of where any of this was going to go at the Royal Rumble. There wasn't. Usually you can kind of peg it out and be like, hey, this guy, like last year it was kind of going in. It wasn't like super obvious, but it was like McIntyre's probably going to win this thing. You know, if he gets Lesnar out, he's going to win it. And years before it was always like, we kind of know who's going to win. And they've always been kind of good about not giving us who we think we're going to win. We all remember the Daniel Bryan fiasco when I think was it Ray won and they got booed.
Or was it Batista?
Well, there was 2 of them, but I think the one that the yes movement was when Ray won it because they wanted him to be 30 and he wasn't. But yeah, man, it's just
so I'm leaving Young's comment up here because here's the thing. I didn't think Edge's promo was bad, but I do believe that to have Edge and McIntyre matched up is sort of a waste. And how are you going to do that? Because now you get 2 faces that are, and that never works out good because there's nothing there.
Well, so the other thing is Dark Horse doesn't have to be a singles match.
Well, that's true.
could definitely have some triple threats going on at Mania this year.
Well, see, that's where the promo last night threw me off, because it seemed like Edge was hinting at the fact that I'm taking this to SmackDown. You have to worry about somebody else. Didn't clearly say it. Then all of a sudden, McIntyre gets bro kicked. So then all of a sudden you think about it going, maybe he is setting it up for those two battling out, but then at the same time, maybe he's also saying you have to worry about me and Sheamus triple threat at Mania, because I don't see Reigns versus Edge as a draw. I mean, and I think DC knows I'm Reigns biased. I've been a Reigns fan from the beginning throughout everything. And so what he's doing right now, I think, is remarkable, but I just don't understand how him and Edge could actually make that work.
Especially with I'm sorry I keep dwelling on this, but I mean, this Kevin Owens feud is just phenomenal. The match quality these two are putting out is so good. And Kevin Owens has not gotten a legitimate run. He's been title a few times, but it's never been like that right scenario for him. He's just on fire right now. He's playing the perfect baby face to Reigns, where it's like, you're going to have to kill me to get me to stop. And he hasn't done it yet, and and we'll get into that match, but it's just hard to see Edge just all of a sudden end up in that place. And it's like, this should be Owens.
KO reminds me at this point an awful lot of Foley, but yet amped up even a little bit more. He's not as, like, when I think of Foley, it's almost like cartoonish. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Whereas KO seems like he's just an ass kicker, whereas Foley really sort of wasn't quite the same, and wasn't as just, I mean, he was violent, but I mean, this is, KO doesn't have other characters, as Foley did. And man, I don't see how they keep him out of WrestleMania. And if it's not against Reigns, who the hell is it against?
Right.
Yeah,
what are they going to have him go against Jey Uso? That's just kind of.
Yeah, I'm getting with KO. I'm really getting those Foley vibes as well. But then I'm seeing a lot of Foley Rock with those two.
Right.
It's like they work so well together. That golf cart spot was amazing. I know AEW did it first, but I don't think that spot could have been any better. And
no,
just
it was good.
Because they've had that's their third match now, right? Which Reigns has won all three, because they had one at SmackDown in the cage, and then they had the one at TLC, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, but like every match was a 5-star match, I thought.
And the beautiful part about it is that he's not won any of them clean.
No.
Right, which is all the more reason of you do that when you're setting something up.
Yeah.
Like otherwise you end it and there's a clean win.
But how do you take the belt away from Reigns though right now?
And that is the hard part, is how do you take the belt off of Reigns when this is, even though he's a heel and they've always pushed him as that face, this is the hottest he's been, in my opinion. So it's like, and maybe that's part of the problem right now backstage, is they're just like, damn it, we're in a corner. They're both great. What do we do?
Yeah.
Bring Edge in. He'll just take it off of both. Before we move on from that, I'm going to just look down this list real quick and note any notables. I mentioned this to JR going into the Rumble this year, and I don't know if it has to do with the pandemic or whatever, everything in the world going on, but there wasn't a lot of anticipation going into this Rumble of like, there's going to be big surprises. I think I had that feeling going in, like, we're not going to see a lot of big surprises like we may usually see, but there was still a couple in this one, and Carlito obviously was the big first one to come out.
And the big surprise about Carlito was how jacked the guy looked.
He looks
compared to when he actually was wrestling. I mean, obviously he had a match, even though it was a tag team match last night on Raw, but the dude looks just jacked.
Yeah. He looked amazing.
Yeah, he's if you watch Glow, he's in Glow. So you would have gotten kind of an idea of what he's been up to lately, because he looked jacked in that show as well. And looks good. And it sounds like he may be getting offered a producing role or an agent role backstage, which would be interesting to see, because it was always said that he left on bad terms. Then the stuff with the throwback episode a couple weeks ago where he was advertised but never showed up and they never called him. So it was interesting to see him come out. No apple spit. I get it. We're in a pandemic, so it can't happen. But you kind of missed it still. Another notable person that came into the Rumble, I'm gonna just mention it because I kind of thought it happened, but it's always fun. But Mayor Kane was there.
Mhm.
Glenn Jacobs taking his mayoral duties off for a night. So crazy that guy's a mayor of a city.
Yeah, Jesse, just to interrupt quick, Jesse, in the Royal Rumble, it's every 90 seconds that they let somebody in. And we talked about this a little bit last week. That if you really keep track, sometimes it's a little bit longer than 90 and sometimes a little bit shorter, depending on who they have and what spot needs to be done before they let somebody come in.
Yeah, call that a questionable 90 is what they do.
Yeah.
I think my favorite return of the night, actually, no, it's not this one. He was right after, but Hurricane Helms also in a producing role. So just nice to see the Hurricane come out. But Christian, I think Christian was the one too that I think if there's had an audience there, he would have had the biggest pop.
Oh yeah.
I was disappointed in Rollins' return.
Yeah, because I just in my mind it was like, yeah, he's gonna come back. Okay, that makes sense.
And it wasn't. It wasn't like he's been away that long.
No, yeah, but I wanted to hear "Burn It Down." I didn't want this Messiah gig. I'm so sick of that.
I did think he'd come back babyface. Maybe we'll still get to that, but I thought that too. I thought he'd come back babyface. Becky was trolling people on Twitter on Sunday. Did you see? Because she took a picture of the red curtain going into Gorilla and then just tweeted it before the Rumble. Some people were like, Becky said, and like other people were like, you realize how long ago she had the baby? There's no way she's wrestling. But it was fine. She even said, she was like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to confuse anybody. And then just worth mentioning the 30th entry, Braun Strowman. I don't know. I was kind of like, it's gonna be the Fiend. No, it's not. Okay, we're done with the Fiend.
I mean, let me just say this. Braun Strowman looks like he's in better shape than he was when he left.
True.
They're never going to do anything with him worthwhile.
Yeah, we've said this before.
They never are. We talk about it all the time.
When they didn't pull the trigger with him and Brock Lesnar and instead inserted Kane into that three-way and then just still put Brock over the both of them, that was where they killed him.
Yep.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Timmy, but it was Braun should have been a guy. He should be a lot bigger than he is right now and a lot higher up on the card than he is right now. But unfortunately, he's like we've compared him to, he's this generation's Big Show.
Yeah.
And he's much better than Big Show, I believe. Because, yeah, I mean, and I've seen him work so many different types of matches where you really would think, because what Vince talks about or what Vince asks for, like he should be the marquee guy because he wants size, he has the look. I mean, yeah, JR, he came back jacked. I was just going, whoa. But yeah, I feel bad for him because I really feel like it's going to be a situation where I don't know how all this stuff works, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up leaving at some point in time and becoming a big star like at AEW. I really wouldn't be.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting now because you go back a year, there wasn't that. Well, he'll just go to Impact and be a bigger deal, or he'll go to like they would laugh at you. But now it's like, well, they'll just go to AEW. Oh wait, hang on. So it's funny that's just changed the whole landscape. Before we get to the women's match, let's run through the regular just non-Rumble matches we had. And I was surprised this was on the pre-show, guys. I caught the end of it. The women's tag team championship, Flair, Asuka, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Jax and Baszler retain. Lacey Evans and Flair come out, distract Charlotte. She loses the match. This is a whole lot of stuff going on because for a while it looked like we were seeing Nia and Shayna getting ready to kind of go at it when they were going to drop the belts. They were going to have a feud. That has not happened. They're still doing the competitive thing with each other. Again, all signs were pointing for a good couple weeks now of Asuka Bliss at Mania. Now who knows what the hell's going on. And I just, JR and I mentioned it. I'm really interested to see what you think, Timmy. Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans. That just doesn't sound WrestleMania quality feud. So maybe it won't make it to that. But the other thing, too, is this could be literally Charlotte, Rick, and any other female. Like the female in that role doesn't matter. This is all about Charlotte and Rick, this whole storyline. So it's also kind of like you couldn't have maybe got someone better. I don't know. Like have Natalya do it. There's history there. He turned on the Flair name and he's with the Heart or something. I don't know. What do you think of this?
The whole storyline is one of those storylines where you just want it to stop. It's beyond cringy because it's just one of those things where I don't see the connection. You know, and it's one of those things where, because when Charlotte came back, I was like, yes, Charlotte's back. I wanted to see a feud with her and Asuka because I felt like they're the two main women on the card for Raw. And that didn't happen. You put them together as a tag team. And even just like the match at the Rumble, the match was a little bit better than before. They did more tag team work. I mean, it seemed like they were in more they were connected much better than usual. But no, I don't care for Lacey Evans and Charlotte and Rick. The whole thing is just Rick was the man, you know. So it's like I just want him not to even be in this role at all because he's still the man. But it's hard seeing this right now.
Well, and it just doesn't seem believable that he's bagging Lacey Evans, especially with everything he's gone through. We know a lot of his real life stuff now. So, JR, what are your thoughts on it?
Here's one of my big problems with this and with WWE writing as a whole. They believe that we have zero memory. Do you recall when the big deal about Lacey Evans was because they didn't know what the hell to do with her? First, she came out as the oh, you nasties, okay, that's fine, that's great, whatever. And then they made her the military hero whose daughter was at ringside and was getting played on, and they showed her and her husband. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to forget that shit. And now she's just a gold digger for Flair. And it's just like, why do you think that we are all that goddamn stupid? It goes back to you remember when we went to that Slammy show and we were sitting next to the guy. I was sitting next to the guy, and his son must have been 10 years old. He brought him, and I'm booing the hell out of Reigns. No offense to him. And the kids cheering hell. And it was at that point, I realized they're not writing anything for me. They're writing it for this kid. And even in then but they're not, because Vince likes to have this soap opera type stuff that's sort of adult natured. What does this kid know from Evans and Flair? You know, it's like and so it just, the whole thing confuses the shit out of me, because I have to suspend my belief multiple times for the same character, for different situations. And we've talked about this before too. They never give anything a chance to breathe and develop. It's, if it doesn't happen in 4 weeks, it's good, we're doing something else. And this is the problem that WWE has, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, I saw a thing online. It was a picture of Lacey and her husband, and someone's like, it looks like someone tried to make a drawing of Johnny Gargano. That's what her husband looks like. A bad drawing of Johnny Gargano. It's just, again, that whole thing was just a mess. There's a lot of different things happening in there. Am I mad that it ended the way it did? No, because I actually liked Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as champs, and I liked Green, and I like the outdoing of each other to show who's the better part of the team. And to me, that was setting up, you know, Charlotte, Flair, Lacey, and hopefully what at that time I thought Asuka and Bliss, but now we don't know. So that was the pre-show. We start the show off though with Drew McIntyre and Goldberg, which I was excited about because I was like, good, I won't miss anything after this. Again, the whole thing was when Goldberg came back, everybody instantly was like, he's going to win. Why would they bring him back for just this one Royal Rumble match? He's going to beat McIntyre. The talk has been McIntyre's going to get his moment in front of fans this year at Mania, meaning he's going to have to lose it to win it at Mania. So it was like, this is it. This is how they're going to do it. And it didn't happen. To everybody's pleasure, it didn't happen. Goldberg lost. And Drew McIntyre won, but then that just raised a whole bunch more questions of where the hell's the title picture going.
I mean, I think a lot of that, though, was because people made it a point to let it be known that they did not want to see Goldberg win. And I think WWE listened, because there was a part of that match where I actually thought Goldberg was going to win.
Yeah.
And then I was going, they can't do this. Just because, I mean, and I understand where you're coming from, DC, because it's like, yeah, McIntyre loses just to retain it at WrestleMania, have his moment. But I just don't see Goldberg at 54 years old with 3 moves. I mean, and it kind of sucked seeing the jackhammer get wasted and Spears getting wasted because those used to be finishers and now they're just kind of just moves.
Yeah, I actually had that conversation on my the other show that I do with Wes Briscoe about how just crazy it is, because JR talked about this too. I don't know if you guys said this a few weeks ago, but like JR said, he's like, you know, the Sweet Chin Music used to be a finisher. Now it's thrown 20 times in one goddamn match. What is going on now? Why are we minimalizing these amazing moves that they're nothing now? They just happen a million times in a match like it's nothing. When those are the ones that you're supposed to get hit and sell the shit out of it, make it look like that was so devastating. Yeah, you know, the funny thing with that match too is they had to show that promo after Goldberg got to the ring to show the setup to this match, and it was like, you know why they did that. He was blown up just getting to the ring. That dude was out of breath when he got inside the ring. It's hilarious.
Plus the whole I'll just say this. I'm happy that Goldberg didn't win. And to be honest, he shouldn't have won because he screwed up that initial promo. He screwed up the whole thing to start on Legends Night. He that's, it doesn't make any difference. Even wrestle, he can't even keep track of time or know what the hell's going on. And to me, that's pretty irresponsible. That would be like if we were doing a show and if Tim, you were on stage and as the host, I'm out of the room and you tell something about, oh, well, I just want to let you know that I had a family member pass away and it was bad. And then I come up and say something because I'm not paying attention. And I say something about, yeah, well, I guess if that guy's, you know, whoever, it was just so irresponsible. And that's why, if you remember watching that, that's why the show just cut off, because there was a whole nother chunk that was supposed to happen, but Goldberg effed it up.
Well, and it just proved that he couldn't ad-lib either, because the part that got missed was McIntyre couldn't deliver his part of what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
They were over, and then Goldberg responded exactly how he was supposed to respond if McIntyre would have got his lines out, which he didn't. So it made no goddamn sense, but man, I was just hoping he'd knock himself out on the way to the ring again. That's what I was really hoping for, and it didn't happen. But I did. I'm Timmy, I think you know too, but I just hate Goldberg, guys. I've always hated Goldberg when he was in WWE. I hated Goldberg. But even then, I was like, this is all just circumstance to booking, people. Are we not, like, I'm a teenager and I get this. He looks good. He has 3 moves. Put him in a match for an hour with Flair and he will die. He's not a wrestler. It just isn't. So that's just my take. SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks, Carmella.
I appreciate it, bro.
Shit. You gotta start wearing the Kevlar vest now.
Shit, that'll go with you wrestling.
Yeah, that match. Carmella can't wrestle.
Not great, man. She's not great.
I'm sorry. She
tries
can't wrestle. Yeah. I mean, I think she's come a long way. I feel she has the look. I really do. I mean, I think she looks the part, and her mic work, I feel, has gotten much better as well. But just in the ring, it was hard because I like Sasha, and I just felt like Sasha was carrying the whole match and kind of like guiding Carmella through it, and you can just notice it. But I was happy when it was over. I'll tell you that much.
Right. That's
I think the whole just real quick and Homegrown 76. We'll get to your question about that mask here in a minute. So my incredulous nature says to me, why in the hell is this sommelier guy always involved?
Yeah, what's his name? Reginald.
And it is like I don't get it. And he gets involved, and then they never get rid of him until they do get rid of him finally. And as you said, I'll say this about Carmella. All right, she has a look that obviously Vince likes, and probably Corey Graves as well. But the thing is, whatever they put her in, character-wise, she can pull it off. She is a great actress, not a great wrestler. Would you agree? I mean,
yeah. She's lacking in the actual ring,
right?
Yeah, but she's great on a mic. She has a great look. She can dance. The personality's great. She's a performer. I mean, I think she was a Laker girl before this. I mean, she's performed. She knows what she's doing. And not to say in another year or two that if she keeps going at it, she'll be better in ring and could be something. But to me, it was perplexing to be like, so Carmella comes back with this new gimmick, and months later, she's just going to be in this match with Sasha Banks, where it's like, come on, that's Banks. Give her someone good. But hopefully, after how this women's Rumble ends, at where we're going for Banks, I hope at Mania, and that match I would be very interested in. And so let's get into the women's Rumble.
Well, let me before you do that, let's see. Figure this out. White mask with a black X on the forehead. Do you recall? And I'll ask you: do you recall? Was this? Do you recall? Was it? Did he get it from AWA, NWA? How? I mean, I'm guessing they're 76. That you're in that neighborhood. Could have been anybody. With black X, could have been Mr. Wrestling. There was Mr. Wrestling 1, Mr. Wrestling 2. Could have been one of those. I don't recall without actually looking it up. I don't think it was the interns. I think the interns had solid colored matches. Yeah, exactly. Your dad just could be a serial killer.
Maybe it was the Masked Comedian X.
Could it? It could have been the Masked Comedian X. That was back in the day.
That guy has been around in months.
And I will say this: there's one thing that I miss about the NWA, and the NWA Power, and not the NWA Shockwave show, but they had the question mark, and if you didn't watch it, they had a guy, and this just was a question mark, and he was from Monrovia, and it was so old school throwback that it made me laugh and giggle every time the guy came on. And it probably wouldn't have been the Claw guy. Probably wouldn't have been, because that was Baron Von Raschke.
He didn't
wear a mask.
He just had a bald head.
Could have been some dude named Farmer. I don't know.
Someone else asked Timmy if you get told you look like 50 Cent a lot, and I don't know if you do, but like
I used to.
But Kevin Hart for a while too, right?
Oh yeah. My mom calls me that one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, but yeah, 50 Cent. I used to wear the fitted caps, and I used to actually wanted to be 50 Cent at one point in time. I'd wear the do-rag and the fitted cap, and I used to have that.
Get shot 8 times when I was younger.
He survived, so I thought maybe I could too.
Right.
But not anymore though. I do respect 50 Cent though. I'm a big fan of his, but no, I appreciate that.
Okay, so let's get into the women's match, guys.
All right.
Bayley and Naomi start at 1 and 2. So the Feel the Glow is back in WWE, makes a return at number 2. I'm happy for her. I've never been a Naomi fan. I'm not really caring if people disagree with me on that, but it was a cool start to see those two. And Bayley at number 1, I was kind of hoping she'd win, just because I was like, that'd be awesome if Bayley went.
I still think so obviously with her carving Cole's name in the back of her hair, there's gonna be a Bayley Michael Cole match, and I'm gonna love the shit out of it.
I don't know, man. Last time he was involved in anything Mania was him and King, and that shit was awful.
I know, but that's why it's gonna be great, because it's gonna be great to see Bayley kick his ass all over the ring. I'm gonna say,
go ahead.
We're gonna get to hear her shit talking.
This is true. Did you watch? Oh, sorry. I thought you were done.
I'm gonna say my favorite thing out of all of the COVID WWE is when Bayley and Sasha were the tag team champs, and they had Bayley Mike. Because good God, can that girl shit talk?
Right.
It was, oh my God, and I miss it.
Great deal. She was on Austin's podcast. I don't know if you guys saw it on the network, and he actually asked about that. He was like, "What is it with you and Michael Cole?" And she honestly was just like, "I don't know." He was there, and I yelled at him, and I was stuck. She was like, I needed someone to yell. There's no fans. He was there. I screamed at him, and now it's a thing. I was like, that's like you said, it's amazing that happened just because of COVID. Kind of. There's no fans for her to interact with or anything. So let me get to here. So Bianca Belair comes in at number 3, Billie Kay number 4. We had some really good stuff going on. Shotzi Blackheart came out tonight that night. That was cool. The women's match had way better entrance. Am I wrong, guys? Than the men's match. I was way more pumped for this match. Like I said, Shotzi Blackheart came out. Billie Kay comes out, and again, this woman is entertainment gold. Cracking up the whole time she's out there, just on commentary, going up to each entrant with her resume. Just that girl is hilarious.
See, again, one of the things, she's very similar to Carmella in the fact that she's not the best athletic performer. She's adequate, but I can't see how they I mean, my hope was that they would actually, put her and Peyton Royce back together again, which is sort of half-assed did, but
I like how they did it though, because I like that they kind of got back together, but then it was, well, wait, are you going to be with the Riot Squad?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that breakup?
What's that?
The Iconics breakup. I seen it said that they showed up to work that day and they told them they were being split up.
Yeah, because it was draft.
Well, yeah, but I think it was something where like Peyton Royce had an interview where she was going. She had zero clue what was happening.
Yeah. Either one knew. They found out live as it was going, I guess, that night, like on the show. Like they're like, and we're drafting Peyton Royce, and they're like, what?
Where's Sable now? She is feeding Brock Lesnar's children.
This is true.
That is true.
So again, some really cool names. Toni Storm in the Women's Rumble. That was nice to see. Jillian Hall, Victoria making a return.
It was great to see Victoria, and she actually looked good.
Victoria always looks good.
Well, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think
they had her look good in the
Tori Wilson always looks good too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Tori Wilson coming out there looking great. Santana Garrett from NXT.
I was going to say Santana Garrett reminded me a lot. She looks a lot like Mickie James.
A lot, yeah. I got that too. Alicia Fox coming in.
That was a surprise.
That was unexpected. Still looking like a hot mess. Makes you wonder if everything got cleaned up in the personal life out there. Dakota Kai came out. I popped. I marked. I am a huge Dakota Kai fan, so I was very happy. I was very mad when she got eliminated, though. And then you got again, Alexa Bliss comes out at number 27. This is who I think is taking it. I said it last week. All week I'd been saying I'm confident Bliss is winning this. She beat Asuka clean 2 weeks ago. She lost dirty to Asuka the last week. Why would they do that if that doesn't mean these two are going at it at Mania? You're making Bliss look tough. And, they did make Bliss look tough in all the 2-3 minutes she was in the ring. And it took the entire ring to get her out.
But Rhea Ripley's the one that eliminated her.
And Rhea Ripley is the sole one who did the eliminating after the big gang up. Which then people were saying, like, okay, we're going to get Rhea Ripley Bliss. I don't know. I'm not like, there's just too much going on between her, Orton, and the Fiend that it's like, you can't just throw a wild card in now.
Yeah.
You've had me invested in her transformation into this thing with Bray for 3 months now, and it's like, you can just like throw someone new in here now. Like,
can we applaud her for how amazing she's doing? Because, oh my gosh.
So that's someone who it's like, she has it all around. Me and JR say this every week when we talk about the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and that is, the girl could leave and be a movie star if she wanted to. She could legitimately be a movie star. She doesn't need to be in WWE. She's that talented because she's great on a mic. She's great. Just the facial, how everything she's done with this is just amazing. And for her size and everything, she's an amazing and talent worker. She can go with the best of them. I mean, she's a well-rounded talent. So it's like, man, why would you not put the belt on her? That's my question. Why wouldn't you? Like, how you have to get her involved in it somehow before Mania. Women's Chamber, maybe.
I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid because
a little weird. Because
the way that and my fear too is the way that they've sort of at the beginning when the Fiend was so hot, and you and I watch at that TLC match, they that was just a gigantic chunk of crap. As much as he was over, and as much fun as it was when he would fake going in and figure out all that shit, he is so good, and yet the writings handcuffs him.
Yeah, it was definitely a gimmick that was too. Again, like he should have been way bigger and higher up the card than he is where he is now, and that is because of they built him up, but then they kind of took him down because then they just did some weird shit and it was build him back. Oh, we're gonna take him back down.
I'm so confused by it though, because
it makes no sense.
I mean, I wasn't the biggest Husky Harris fan, but I feel Bray Wyatt was amazing. The Fiend is amazing, but I just feel like he's doing all of these things to only be legitimately like he kind of like he hits a wall or something, and they just bring him back down, and he has to come back with a new persona, and it just keeps happening now.
Yeah, it's really weird. Dan, what's up, man? Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you,
you're right. I enjoyed that very much last night on Raw with the ending moments of Bliss all of a sudden on top of the top rope with the blood coming down, scares Orton, and then you get the spear from Edge. I loved it. I know some people were like, this is a little too cheesy for me, but I told JR earlier, it's like, does nobody remember when Undertaker kidnapped Stephanie McMahon and tried to sacrifice her by like hanging her on his symbol? Like, it's wrestling, guys. And that was my other thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a lot of just online chatter over the Rumble about just like with Bianca Belair.
Her feet?
With her feet on the ground. And she should have never won. It's like, guys, you're watching wrestling. Like, obviously, they picked who they wanted to win. Just let it. Why would you do that? You look like a fool now. You're arguing something that was scripted. Just leave it be. Like, that's a hard thing to do too. You hang from that top rope and try to not let both feet touch the ground. So
while I was watching it that night, I brought that up too, because remember when Shawn Michaels first did that, and then now watching this women's Rumble match, it's like every last one of them were doing it.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, but at the time when Michaels did it, we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And now you're seeing every last one of these women doing it, and because even the spot with Naomi and Bianca Belair, where they kind of like
the hair,
the hair thing, and they helped each other up. I was like, that's pretty dope. I mean, I don't know. I'm not one of those people where I'm not going to sit there and gripe over something like that. Like you said, who's supposed to win. This is who they want to win, and she's amazing. I'm a big Bianca Belair fan.
Yeah, and her winning that match, man, I'll tell you what. Like, and it was perfect too. The interview in the ring afterwards was very real. Just a very good feeling thing. If you watch online or on the social media, you see the stuff of her and Montez Ford, her husband, backstage. After that, they said that she got a standing ovation walking back in Gorilla. Like, everybody was just going nuts.
He's going to be a star too.
Well, yeah, right. And the thing with this is it's so much needed for her because you brought her in. She was a huge pop when she debuted right after Mania this last year, even though there was no crowd there. The overall online verdict was, yes, finally Bianca Belair's here. And then she just kind of went away. Like, they just didn't do anything with her for months. And it was just kind of weird. It was like, oh, here's another Rhea Ripley where they're going to bring her to the main roster, but then kind of just put her in limbo. So to see her go in, see her win, and she put a hell of a match on. That's the other thing too. Don't overlook the work she did in this whole Rumble match.
Yeah.
From the time she was there till when she won, she was putting on a great show in that ring.
A little bit under an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was awesome, man. And like I said, if that means we're gonna see her and Sasha Banks at Mania, now that is a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, like that's gonna be sick.
All right, Lou Ferrigno, not in wrestling, bodybuilder. I don't think you could hear the promos.
Lou Ferrigno.
I'm just answering the questions.
I wish you can do. Can you do his voice? I can't.
No, I'd have to watch King of Queens. It's the only time he ever speaks.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk. He was in Paul Rudd and the dude from How I Met Your Mother, Jason Segel, their movie of I Love You Man. I Love You Man.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta find the best. Like, Lou Ferrigno's in that because he's selling.
He certainly could have been. There were people that look a lot worse and probably perform a lot worse. But he's actually a pretty talented actor. Other than the fact that he is deaf and has a little bit of a, that deaf person speaking kind of thing. He's not as deaf as Marilyn Matlin. You know who I'm talking about.
Marley Man, I think it is.
Yeah, her. But anyway. So,
but yeah, overall though, if you guys had to pick out of these matches, the two main Rumbles matches, I'm going women's the whole way.
Women's was definitely better than men.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, it's worth noting that we had R-Truth get in the middle of this match for the time being as he came out, and was it Alicia Fox yelled at him?
Yeah, he lost his belt.
Alicia Fox actually won the belt for a while.
Right. And then after that match, they took a break, and Peter Rosenberg is now the 24/7 champion.
Can I just tell you this? I like R-Truth, and he still blocked me for whatever reason. I've been blocked by R-Truth on Twitter.
You're probably talking shit about Lil Jimmy.
No, never did. I understand what his skill set is, and I understand why Vince likes him.
Yeah.
But why did they not put this in the men's match? Why did they not put this in some other match? To me, it detracted. It's like, oh yeah, this is another comedy spot, because that's all it is.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But why? What you never see them running in the middle of something that they deem a men's important match. It's always in women's matches that they pull this shit. You recall back when they did it during a women's tag match for the championship?
Well, they did that, and then there was also the Mickey James's first match back.
Yes.
Injury, and they used that whole match for Rollins and Buddy Murphy yelling at Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
all the match was going on. The cameras were on there. It's Vince. It comes down to that. At the end of the day, Vince is still somewhat sexist. Like, he's not the one that started this women's evolution. That was not him. That and those aren't. He wasn't making those calls. He was just told it was a good move and do it. So he still has that shit humor. Poop and fart jokes are funny to him. He's a very polarizing figure that is in control of all of this stuff, and it's crazy because you hear his personal life. Like we talked a couple weeks ago, the story of him where he didn't think anybody in the normal world knew what a burrito was, and we can't use burrito in script. No one knows what a burrito is. Okay, like this is the guy who's writing these storylines or giving the final say on what's going on TV and not. That's a little scary, just a little bit, but so yeah, the Rumble though overall good, but still a lot of questions going into Mania on this road to Mania now. Hopefully that gets answered through Chamber. I'm hoping. I don't know. It's just a lot going on.
Gotta. I mean, they've got 3 months, 2 months, to figure it out. And one pay-per-view. And
it does sound like Christian's back part-time now too, like in ring.
Well, so you
think he's involved with that at all? I don't know.
Here's the thing. I'll go back to Young's thing. We talked about this on Legends Night. They bring these legends back. It's never the legends putting the new guys over. It never is. It hasn't been for years. The legends come back and they go over, and the new guys are the sacrificial lambs. I can't remember when a legend of any kind came back, other than the fact that Goldberg lost. It's like, well, that's amazing.
And then that's even like almost a cop out because McIntyre's not even that much
Well, yeah,
he's not a young guy anymore, yeah.
Oh yeah,
we did, Dan. Sorry, buddy, you missed it. But yeah, Carlito looked awesome. Okay. Good to see him back in there. It's something that it does show the difference a little bit of what they're doing at AEW with some of the guys over there, like a Christopher Daniels, like a Frankie Kazarian, like Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho put over Orange Cassidy in a mimosa match.
Yeah, Billy Gunn.
Never happen on WWE programming. It would just never happen. They're putting over a 9-year-old right now. Again, there's circumstances around that it makes that understandable, but at the end of the day, they're putting over a 9-year-old right now on the product. It's it's a little bit of a different thing over there. So
there's clearly a different mentality.
The closest thing I noticed from the Rumble was when Damian Priest eliminated Kane. That was the closest thing, because it's like that actually showed Kane's been in 18 Rumbles, eliminated the most people, and then now it's like we're giving this guy. This is probably the closest thing to putting a young guy over that I've seen in forever.
Yeah, that definitely propped up Damian Priest. Like, to be honest, I'm not a Priest guy either, JR. We've talked about him on the show. I've always been just on the bubble with him. But damn, he looked good in the Rumble. I'm not gonna lie, he looked good in the Rumble, and I was like, all right, like, don't win it. I'll have issue with that if you win it, but like, all right, I see it. It's good. And even on Raw last night, like, he came out and had a match with Miz, and it was pretty decent. I don't know how much more Bad Bunny is going to be getting involved in all this, so that'll be interesting to see, I guess.
That spot was scary.
Because Timmy, you know me, dude. I mean, I'm not hip anymore. Those days ended about 10 years ago for me. You're more hip than I am, so like, I mean, like, you listen to Bad Bunny? Because JR, you don't know. You were like, who is this guy? I'm like, I know who he is, but I don't listen to his music.
So I know Bad Bunny, but I'm not a Bad Bunny fan due to the fact that I don't know what he's saying. Mm-hmm. That's just what it comes down. But as he performed Booker T, with him just bopping, and like my first time actually watching him fully, I was like, I was vibing to it, and Booker T just standing there doing this. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
That whole thing made me think Booker T was gonna be in the Rumble.
Yeah, but him getting on the top ropes, he had no business on the top ropes.
Yeah, it when he was grabbing his side, I was like, dude, you were on the offense. You shouldn't be grabbing your side. So I was like, maybe he really did hit the dude's
did hurt himself
when he landed down. But then on last night on Raw, he smokes more. Did you see Raw last night, Timmy?
I actually missed that match, but I did catch it.
Well, I missed the match. I woke up at the end because I fell asleep during that one. I was exhausted. But like, he smokes Morrison with his microphone.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna tune in
at the end of it. So again, though, it felt like they may be setting up, like, I would not be surprised if we see Bad Bunny involved with WWE programming through Mania. Just wouldn't be.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that they did this because AEW brought in Snoop?
I don't know, though, because WWE's brought Snoop many times. I mean,
well, I'm just saying. It's
just one of those things where it's just, they got to bring marquee people in, especially Mania time. I think a lot of their go-tos are no longer go-tos because of AEW. You look at a Mike Tyson, you look at the Shaquille O'Neal, you look at Snoop Dogg. I mean, these are people that they used to be noticeable names on WWE. Like, every few years they were going to show up.
Shaq.
And yeah, like, that ain't gonna. I was at 32 in Dallas when Shaq was in that Rumble, which was supposed to set up for him and Big Show that next year, and it never happened.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, I did get to watch the last 10 minutes, Dan, of Backstage. Was that on Friday night or Saturday night? I can't remember because I was.
Yeah, that was the night before the Rumble.
Yeah, and then Christian Okoye gave him crap about not picking the Chiefs, which I thought was hilarious. But
Booker T looked jacked.
But he did. Yo, yeah.
Look at me in that beard.
that beard and that kind of sort of handlebar thing that he's got going or whatever. He looked like, he looked like he could hop back in the ring.
I thought, because they had the backstage segment with Miz and Morrison trying to get with Bad Bunny, and then him being like, good luck. I was like, dude, he's going to come out and take the Miz out. Like, that's what that just set up, but it didn't happen. But that was the Rumble. We're about at the end. I do want to just real quickly, like, get thoughts on what AEW has going on, because we didn't really talk about any of that.
I'm going to first say that and I don't think we talked about this last week because it didn't happen. If you're an AEW watcher, our man Big Ace here knows Red Velvet, and she came on on fire last week.
Yeah, her first promo.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, throwing it out. Jade and Shaq versus Cody and Red Velvet. We'll see if it's going to happen. They got to respond. So, but yeah, great moment for her. Someone who I've gotten to get to know a little bit since she kind of debuted up till now. So it's fun to see that, you know. And actually, if you guys, Briscoe and Brigade show from last Thursday, it's on our YouTube and our Facebook. Our last show we did. Red comes on for the last half of it and actually talks about her time in the ring that night at Dynamite and talks about the promo and stuff. Because another thing for me watching that is seeing someone that I know personally now and getting to see her get a rub from Arn Anderson like he was in that promo before introducing her. Like, I even told her, I was like, that's crazy. You had Arn Anderson pumping you up coming out to the ring. Like, that's a horseman. That's ridiculous.
It is.
You know what I mean? So
awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. Hopefully we'll see what happens more with that. Jungle Boy, if his name wasn't already on the map, it definitely is now after last week's Dynamite. And him and Dax had one hell of a match. And I mean, if Jungle Boy ain't a future champion for AEW, he is somewhere. Best believe that.
I agree. I am looking forward to this coming tomorrow. The one thing that I'm looking forward to most, and you know I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan, is Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker.
Oh, yeah, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. And,
Doctor.
And I'll tell you what, she, you know, when they started and tried to make her a face and it wasn't going anywhere, the fact that she is such a tremendous heel at this point is absolutely fascinating to me. And it's just a study in how if you let someone play to their strengths and what they're really good at, they'll go over way quicker than if you try to fit them into a box. And I say that because I feel like in many cases that's what AEW is doing. They're letting the performers do what they know, which is themselves, whereas WWE is trying to fit people into boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. And there's some interesting things around that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Dynamite. I suggest everybody watch tomorrow night. Before we leave, Timmy, just real quick, what do you got for AEW? Because I know when I saw you the last time, because we were able to actually be in the same room recently, which was awesome. We brought it up then, and you said, I've been watching some AEW. So, like, who's your picks out of there and stuff? What are you liking from it before we head out tonight?
Yeah, so I'm new to AEW, but I've been tuning in. I like it a lot. I don't know what it is. I like Wardlow. I just feel like he's gonna be a face, and I feel like at some point in time here he's gonna end up turning on. Is it MJF?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like MJF though as well. I've become a big Adam Page fan.
Yeah,
man, I'm a big fan of his. I like him a lot, and the whole Kenny Omega and the Mox situation right now, I think that's really good TV as well. And it's really good seeing the Good Brothers back together. And we talked about earlier who the Young Bucks, they out there super kicking everybody. So I mean, it's AEW is really good. It's just good wrestling and everything. And you throw in Chris Jericho and then obviously like Miro now, and then you got Pac, and these are guys who used to be on WWE who are now just holding their own. I love it. Wednesday nights I tune in, so it's like I go back and forth, but I've been leaning more towards AEW lately over NXT. But no, it's a good program.
Hell yeah, man! It was just Brian Cage's birthday, I think, yesterday. So happy birthday!
I like him a lot. That man's a stud.
That whole Taz crew is freaking awesome.
Man, they're good.
The whole crew, and the whole Sting and Darby Allin thing too. I mean, there's so much going on. I don't know how they pack it all in just 2 hours, but they make it work.
It's ever changing because I didn't like what they were doing with Hardy, but now I'm kind of on with the big money Matt Hardy. Like, I like him being the big money manager guy now.
See, here's the difference. Like right now with AEW, they are allowing things to breathe that WWE isn't necessarily allowing. And there, I mean, a prime example. We talked about Britt Baker already. Another example is the Dark Order.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you recall initially when the Dark Order came out at All In, we're like, who the hell are these guys? There was no backstory. There was nothing. It was a gigantic what the fuck?
Yeah,
And
just the whole
Eddie Kingston is gold. Yes.
Eddie Kingston is such a
that dude's great.
struggled and scraped for so long, and now he's getting this moment in the sun. That's so awesome.
So,
but they allow stuff to breathe.
yeah.
They
And
have to. They only do a pay-per-view every 2 to 3 months, so they have to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Like, I honestly feel if AEW had to do a Mania and it was a 2-night event, they could fill the card from top to bottom. They have compelling story. Because, like, right now, with just thinking Mania for me, I don't know how they're going to fill 2 nights. AEW could probably do 3 nights of work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very curious if maybe we don't get TakeOver this year at Mania, and maybe they just kind of tie the NXT matches in.
They're gonna have to.
Maybe. I don't know. It's again, there's just so much in the air on that WWE side that it's like, where are you going with half of this? Because I have no clue. But yeah, I mean, what Dark is doing, they're averaging 14, 15 matches a week episode right now. And
plus the waiting room.
Yeah, plus the waiting room. But those Dark matches are like half of that's just unsigned indie talent coming on, getting a chance to be seen too. So I mean, there's a lot of cool things going on over there. But again, a lot of cool things happening specifically, like you said, Sting, Darby, and the Taz faction. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker is going to steal that show tomorrow night. Excited to see if we get an answer from Shaquille O'Neal. Man, just a lot of stuff going on over there. Did you watch the last BTE, JR?
I did.
So you saw that there was the little segment with Anna, Jay, and Hangman. Yeah. What do you think that's going to? Because a lot of that stuff ends up coming on TV.
It's gonna. So here's what I think. I think what's going to happen is that ultimately Paige is going to go in with him.
Oh.
I really do. They
do you think Anna Jay is going to be the one to get him?
I do.
Because I feel like they're okay. So hear me out. I feel like they're setting up for a like love triangle.
Yeah.
Because they in that same episode, she pushes Stu Grayson over and Ty Conte is like, "Do you like him?"
Yeah.
And then she had that moment with Hangman, and it's kind of like, what if she's the one that gets him to join?
Yeah.
And then starts to like him or something, and then Stu Grayson gets mad, and that's how they end up having like an implosion or something.
Yeah,
because everybody in the Dark Order could be their own guy singles too at this point. They can all have their own careers.
Well, with the exception of Eagles and 10, they're not really.
I think at this point they'd be all right. Just having that Dark Order name, because the Dark Order ain't going anywhere either.
Oh, right.
So
anyway.
A lot of interesting things going on. Tim, thanks for coming by, bro.
Absolutely, Tim. Yeah.
Can I give a quick shout out to the New Day for their Royal Rumble attire?
No kidding.
I love that.
Yeah, man, that was cool. You don't realize how close some of these people are. Like you said, Amanda, Brody's wife, was on that podcast and kind of went through the last few months of his life, and to hear how involved like Big E specifically was in some of that.
To give you an idea, you can go and watch that AEW podcast. She's on the latest one. Okay. And the story about how she asked Big E and Cody to help tell Brody Jr., for lack of a better, that his dad was going to pass away. It's heart-wrenching and awesome all at the same time. Because she says Big E knew him since he was a baby, and it's just, and to see that ring attire, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm a proponent that you should go and watch that AEW what do they call it? Unrestricted. Go watch that one with Amanda Huber, and it's just
it's an interesting story, and it kind of makes you like it puts you in a point where when you hear the story and you look at it from her and their family's point of view, it's just like, man, all we want is answers.
Right.
Want to know why this happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a heartbreaking story. And again, that's why I said, we see that they're putting over a 9-year-old, but in reality, they're really doing more for that kid than a lot of people may realize. And it's a wonderful thing that Tony Khan and AEW are doing for Brody's family.
Yeah.
And just the wrestling world. That again shows you that company lines bear no weight on when it comes to these people as real human beings. And you see that when you see that Cody Rhodes and Big E were in Jacksonville, Florida together in a hotel room telling a 9-year-old that he just lost his father. Again, it just shows that there's more than just this business that everybody builds wrestling to be. So let's not end on a sad note, though. So,
let's end on a happy note. How much GameStop? How much AMC you guys got?
0.
What the fuck?
I wouldn't even buy the GameStop now. It's gonna just crash again.
Dude, you don't like tendies?
Huh?
I can't keep up with this stuff, JR, man. It seems like one day it's CCIV, one day it's Doge, one day it's GameStop. I don't know, man.
So let me tell you a little story. Back in May, when there were rumors that AMC was going AMC. Yeah, AMC was going to be bought by Amazon. Amazon was interested in buying. I bought it because the stock at that point was $5. And I thought, I'm buying it because I think it's a good idea, not because of this short squeeze stuff, because I don't even know if that's going on at that point, right? So I buy a couple $100 worth of AMC stock at $5 a piece. That's not bad. It's not much. And I've wasted $200 on a lot stupider shit. So the stock went up to like $8. And I thought, shit, I'm just going to take that. That's a pretty good deal. So I took a little bit of a gain, and then I was out. And then now I see all of this stuff, and I'm like, geez, if I would have just held on to that, I would have had way more money. And I'm seeing all this other stuff with GameStop and in all of this business. And so I bought some more. So now I got $100 worth, but I don't have near the number of shares I had as I did. But now it's like, okay, because basically I'm still using what I made on the last deal. So
anyways, Tim, thanks for coming on, dude. You open door policy for you, dude. You come on here whenever you want. You can come on every week. I don't care, bro. Like,
and if you want to.
I definitely I definitely enjoyed this, and for the people who commented, I don't know, I was trying to comment back, but I appreciate
you went in the private chat, I think.
Yeah, I try to figure that out, but no, this is a lot of fun. I mean, this is exactly what I thought it was gonna be like, and it's because I know you too, and it seems like everybody that is, you guys got loyal people here commenting, and it's just I just love talking wrestling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like.
So before we go, Tim, what do you got that you want to plug, man? I know you do have the 5 Mics podcast. What's going on with that and stuff? Yeah, so I got 5 Mics podcast. It's myself and 4 other friends of mine. We started this up probably about 6 months ago. So that's going good. So it's at 5 Mics podcast. We're on Amazon. We're on Spotify, iTunes. So that's another thing. And then Tim. Didn't see Tim respond. I don't think he likes me. No, like I said, he responded in our private chat. He didn't.
My bad. That's the one. Yeah, I responded back to the private chat.
So we're not the hosts, so me and you can't actually comment with everybody. Only JR.
Yeah, no, I do like you, and yeah, I do get 50 Cent a lot. So I've definitely heard that one before. But no, and then we got Met City Freeze football coming up. It's gonna be our 5th season. Should be the 6th, but we didn't have one last year due to COVID.
You gonna be running the ball again this year?
No, I retired again, officially again.
Okay. I was wondering.
No, so that's coming up, and 2021 is going to be a fun year. So I mean, this time next week, if I'm back on, we'll talk about some other things. But I'm looking forward to this year, and JJ's blood alcohol. Damn, that's a long name.
The names that we get to see are great.
So I got to tell you, so a lot of these guys that are on with us now, I do a show with a Twin Cities comedian named Corey Adam. I don't know if you know Corey or not, Tim. I think you do, Big Ace. We've had him on this show with us.
Yeah.
But he does a show every day on Twitch, and I go on with him on Thursdays. It started off, we would talk about wrestling. We still do a little, but not nearly as much. But a lot of these kind folks come and say hello to us on Tuesday nights as well, and we appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah. Hey, is there any chance we're gonna get back on stage anytime soon? I'm getting the itch. I feel like.
So I can say this to you. So with the capacity restrictions that are still underway, it's not financially doable for Goonies in Rochester at this point. I can also tell you that by the time things reopen, there may or may not be a new location. And that's for both Crooked Pint and Goonies. So it's they're moving and it'll be closer to downtown. I'm not supposed to say anything, but whatever. I don't think I'll jinx it. But it's there's talk that they'll be much closer to downtown. It'll be at a more walk-up friendly location than it was out there way out on the west side of town of Rochester.
I always thought that hurt them a little bit. I loved going when it was downtown.
It was great when it was downtown. Absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way,
maybe when by the time they get going again with the open mic night here in town, and JR gets to come back and do that, and you're gonna do it, I'll go up and do it too, Timmy.
That'd be awesome.
Ooh.
I haven't done stand up in how many years, JR?
Well, the last time you did was when the place was still open downtown, which was 2000. I don't know, whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
They're going to let people into the Bucks games by the end of the month, possibly.
That's awesome. Of course, Wisconsin's a little bit ahead of the curve on that stuff. Yeah, Jesse, you just don't.
That's great. Guys, just make sure you check out. I just want to plug the Briscoe and Brigade show. Me and Wes Briscoe from WWE, FCW, TNA, Impact Aces and Eights. If you go to YouTube or Facebook, you can find us, the Briscoe and Big A show. Our last episode last week, we had his lovely fiance on the show, Red Velvet.
Downtown Rochester, by the way. Sorry.
Downtown Rochester. That's where we're at. With her Stitch hoodie and all, comes and joins us and talks about getting her first promo in with Cody and Arn in the ring and everything leading into this Cody Rhodes, Red Velvet, and Shaq and Jade situation. So it's a fun show. Check it out. And we got some other cool stuff on YouTube. We don't know what's happening next week, do we?
No, we don't.
Okay, so we need to figure that out. I'm going to Vegas. That's how I'm going to try to make my money instead of the stock market, is I'm going to Vegas next week. So yeah, Timmy, we'll have to hold off. I'm not going to be here. So there's talk of possibly a greatest hits show, or maybe a couple of the lists just being chopped up and put on, or possibly we may pre-record something, or we just may skip this next week, guys.
Yeah, we might do that.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Just follow us online on social media as the 2 Count on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff.
To be honest, it depends on what the weather is.
Yeah, you guys are probably what? Is there snow coming this weekend for you? I think
snow coming on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Don't drive 6 hours, Dan. I'll be over in that area again soon. Dan's over in Kenosha, so and I'm over there quite a bit.
Dan, my family's in Kenosha and Racine. Next time I'm down there, I'll hit you up. We'll have a beer.
That sounds good.
Since I can't go on the cruise with you this year, hurt me and Jim.
Oh yeah, that's right. What a pisser.
We got the Super Bowl Sunday. I'm saying the Chiefs will win though.
Chiefs? Didn't even think about that. Super Bowl Sunday, yeah. Really? I'm going Brady.
Got to go the GOAT.
Mahomes, man. After what I seen last year, it's hard for me to bet against this kid.
I agree with you.
I don't know. Seeing Brady do it with Tampa, I don't think he could.
Thanks, JJ. Take care, buddy.
Later, JJ.
I'm going.
See you on Thursday.
Going Brady.
I'm
a Brady guy.
I would say this. I would love to see Brady win and then retire. Oh, Sheboygan. I'm sorry. Sheboygan is much different than Kenosha.
Yeah, you lied,
Well,
Jay.
I just want to see how the fans are going to be for the Super Bowl and what's going to look like, because Mania is going to be in that same stadium.
Same stadium, and Mania's a lot of the reason they haven't even sold tickets yet is they're waiting to see what goes down Sunday.
So Sunday's going to be big for a lot of people.
Yeah, they want to see how the NFL does this. Then they're going to start deciding like tickets when they're coming out. Because again, 2 nights they got to sell tickets for.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be real interesting. I'll tell you what, if they do some good stuff and those tickets aren't that expensive, I'll look and see what a plane flight is to Tampa Bay. They're cheap right now. I'm just saying.
They're way cheap. Absolutely.
I've never been to a Mania, so I don't know that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Timmy. Here's the other thing too: is there's talk of going to Dallas next year. They announced it. It's my stadium, bro. That's the Cowboys. You know that.
My family lives in Fort Worth, so I mean.
So next year, Dallas may have to happen. I'm going to try to get JR to join us. He won't be able to, but I'll keep talking his ear off.
I never can because I'm always doing that NWA tournament, which is always the same weekend as Mania.
Yeah.
I can't
make your money. Gotta make your money. Right on, JR. You got anything?
Hell no.
Find him at the airport.
It's still COVID times. If you're flying out MSP, look to the side as they de-ice your plane. I might be down there under the wing.
I will.
But otherwise, great to have all of you with us. We appreciate it very, very much. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad. Mostly tell your mom. She probably likes wrestling too. And flying to Vegas in June. Ace is going next week, Dan. He'll leave some money there. I'm sure he'll leave some money there for you. He will not leave any.
I've still never been.
What?
Dude, there's a guy that should go with you. The Sun Country's what, $25?
Oh yeah, you could get the same exact flight as me. $25.
I'm in a relationship now. DC knows that. So
like 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah. But,
it would have been different. But that's good, man. We're getting old, Timmy. We're becoming old men, old wise men, and that's good.
Yeah, you're not that old. All right, you guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for being with us. Tim, thanks again, and we'll look forward to having you on with us again.
Don't hang up. Yeah, don't hang up. Wait till he's done.
Hang on, and we'll run our outro, and we'll talk to you after the fact. Let's see, one more comment. Cheesy, good to see you. Thank you so much for saying hello. We appreciate it very, very much. All right, buddy. Take care. Talk to you soon.